conscious ones. So I'm coming with another video, and this video is kind of a part two, if you will, about the past video that I made yesterday about the winter solstice and the importance of this time of year, as it relates to like the ending of one thing and then the beginning of a new thing, which is the ending of the year and then the beginning of the new year. So with this winter solstice, which is technically the birthing of the sun, the renewal of the sun, and so this is our time for transformation and for growth, and also a time for healing and a time for endings. So it's a major influential energy that's really prevalent, and it's important that we all know kind of what we need to do with this powerful energy. So let's just start with, in terms of growth, how do you measure growth? Look back over the past couple months, or well, the past 12 months, 11 plus months of 12 plus months of your life, and pinpoint, see what times or what experiences or in what ways did you grow? Did you become aware of something that you weren't aware of before? And what did that look like? Like, how did it occur? Was it something solely influenced by you or your soul actions, or did people help or assist you in growth? Like, how did that happen for you? And so it's important to kind of inventory those experiences and times throughout the year that you felt like you grow. You know, you've grown in some type of way. And so next, it's about transformation. So taking that growth, or noting the times in your life over this past year that you were you had positive growth in your life, and even looking at ways where your growth for whatever reason was stifled, or it was stagnant, or you just could not grow. What ways were you stuck? And how did you deal with that? So it's always about really going within and really looking at your life and your experiences and the times and the moments, and really looking at them with empathy and honesty and understanding, right? So excuse me. So now excuse me. So now again, let's keep going. So we're dealing with growth and we're dealing with transformation as it relates to the end of the year and moving forward with the new year, the beginning of the year. And so ultimately we know that it's like the things that we deal with during the year A lot of times those things have a hand in what happens moving forward in the new year. And so it's very important that we, excuse me, leave behind the things that we need to leave behind, the things that are no longer serving us, the limited beliefs, the bad habits, the fears, the anxiety, whatever it may be. It's important that these things we leave behind. We reconcile them, but we leave them behind because we don't want to take those, those, like I said, those limited beliefs into our new beginning. And so when we look at the ending, it's important that we, again, give the same, I would say the same care, the same importance that we give to looking at the new year and making resolutions and having this, this faith, or having this belief that, it's going to be a better year, or, you have these goals, or you have these things that you want to do, these dreams, so on and so forth, and you're excited. There's a sense of excitement. And so it's important to not only have that energy for the new beginning, but to honor the ending of what you need to end. And then we find ourselves in the rest period. So again, what are the things that you identified in your life that need to go? I think it's important that you, if you have to, get a notebook, get a pen and a pad, and really list the things in your life that you want to end. The things in your life that you no longer are aligned to, aligned with, the things in your life that are not positively contributing love and understanding and light. There's so many different variables. There's so many different possibilities. There's so many different situations and experiences that, we experience. And so whatever it is that has kept you from maybe growing, whatever it is that has caused you to doubt yourself, the people or the relationships and friendships that you have that sometimes drain you, that you pour into, but somehow are really not sustainable in a mutual way. These things you have to really investigate and say to yourself, is it worth another year? Is it going to, are these relationships mutually beneficial? Meaning that, do your friends care about you the way you care about them? Does your partner value you and see you as you see them and value them? I mean, it's very important. Is the job something that you feel, no matter what you do, you're not going to probably be able to go any higher? So then why continue? It's time to really get into the, the real uncomfortable aspects of your life, and really, really, really see the need for change. And so we look at the new year as something that's suddenly going to just be this magical event that takes place, and suddenly, we're going to be awashed with, you know, everything different, and suddenly, you know, the world is just going to be bright and the sun is just going to be shining all the time. And, you know, suddenly this is going to be the year that you're going to, you know, score that dream, or, you know, and so it's important to know that nothing happens like that. It happens when, well, it happens for some, I think, in very few cases and rare cases. But for the collective, the majority, I would say that um, you have to identify um, the strengths, your weaknesses. You have to identify, again, your growths, your challenges, and analytically be able to, you know, extract the things that don't work, and to move forward and build upon the things that are working. So I think that when we look at the end of the year and we look at the beginning of the year, um, both entail the same kind of theme, which is, you know, uh, being very open with yourself, being honest with yourself, um, and really having, you know, a plan. And so, how do you plan on ending this one thing? How do you plan on, you know, closing the chapter on this? How do you plan on, um, you know, like I said, moving forward, closing the chapter on something, just moving forward? How do you do that? And with all of those changes, how do you now move forward? Because for some people, you know, leaving a job may put you in a financial bind. And so now, are you coming into, you're ending one thing, but then now you're coming into the new year possibly with fears, possibly with anxiety surrounding finances, right? And so it's important that we take our time, and we, you know, you just don't want to end something abruptly. You want to be diligent. You want to obviously always, excuse me, have a backup plan first and foremost. And so, you know, planning is key in life. And although we know that plans don't always work out according to how we want them to, but I think that it's always better to have one and it not work than to not to need one and not have one, you know. And so this year is just really, really important. This is a time of deep reflection, of really going inward. And so instead of, you know, just focusing on, you know, this new year, this new year, this new year, it's like it won't be a new year if, you know, the broken things are not set out for repair. If you haven't put notice on things in your life that need further work, or you need to further research something or educate yourself more, or you need to give something more time. Again, you have to do the inside work so that now you can really move into this new beginning, this new year, with conviction, with practical and realistic goals, with you'll move with intended action and focus and effort and thought, and you'll see the difference. You understand? And you won't have these kind of pie in the sky reality, or you won't have this I don't know, just this kind of fantasy kind of thinking where it's like, okay, new year, it's just going to be this. But it's like, where is the rest? Where is the planning? Where, is the stage of, weeding out the things? Where is the stage of closing the doors? You can't go from one to 1,000. Life is a journey of 1,000 miles that begins with a single step. Sun Tzu. So we know that. So we have to be able to be conscious. We have to be patient with ourselves. We have to give ourselves grace. The same, ways in which we are there for others, the same ways in which we show concern and care and empathy. Don't forget to give yourself those same feelings. Don't forget to nurture yourself in those same ways that you're there for others. Many of us put so much energy into like nurturing relationships and, working so hard for, on our job, and all that's good. But again, you can't do that at the detriment of the inner self, because, it's from in this inner self that we're able to see the world, see ourselves, and know and learn and understand and embrace our paths and our journeys, all be them, sometimes harsh, sometimes rough, sometimes burdensome, sometimes lonely, whatever it is. But we have to, again, always, always, always feed you. Always feed yourself. Always feed your soul. Always feed your heart. Always feed your mind. That is critical. That is paramount. And so when we look at life and say, okay, well, it's time for a change, that's wonderful. First, it's recognizing the need for change. Now, here's where it gets a little ugly. It can get a little just murky, okay? Because when you really go inside, you're forced to look at your shadow self. You're forced to look at the parts of yourself that may not be all that good, that may not be all that you want to be, and that's fine, because we're all like these conscious energies, but we're still trying to find the divine. We're still trying to find the higher awakening, so that we can really, really, we can tap into the divine that's already within us. But because, many of us still have the light bulb off, it's, you're not tapped in. So when we're able to tap in, we just understand the need for transformation. And that's what life is all about. It's about this cryolis point where it's like a cocoon. It's a caterpillar in a cocoon, and you go through these changes, you go through this metamorphosis, only to come out transformed, right? And so it's always going to be, an ending, a process as a result of that ending, and then this reemergence, right? And so how are you going to reemerge? How do you use the ending and the metamorphosis stage, the changing stage, the resting stage, the inward stage? How do you use that to transform? You know, what do you do when you need to get away from the noise? You know, you're surrounded by friends and you have children and you have relationships and you have careers and you have hobbies and you have, you know, all of these outside entities that have really taken a lot of your time and your energy from you. And therein lies the problem. Okay. And so, you really, 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 you know, we really have to, stop and understand that, again, it really has, you really have to stop, breathe, and look around you and realize, you know, the things that need to end and why you have continued to maybe deal with these reoccurring themes and things in your life. And that's why every new year, you know, you're, you know, one of those that, you know, is just inundated with this fantasy ideal of this new year bringing newness or new things or new, you know, suddenly, you know, everything is just going to happen. You're just going to, you know, accomplish this and that and that and that. And listen, I'm not knocking you for having goals. I'm not knocking you for having aspirations. No, that's not what it's about. But it's like you can't put the cart before the horse. And so that's why for many of us, year after year after year, we find our lives pretty much in the same state in which, you know, we left it the year before and the year before and the year before. Because, again, we have not really been candid with ourselves. We have not really went in with a fine-tooth comb and really dissected, you know, the 12 months or if you want to break it down quarterly, you know, look at your life every 4 months and say to yourself, okay, well, what are the things that are working? How am I making advancements? You know, what do I see gaining momentum? What new ideas am I, you know, getting, or what am I trying to manifest? What do I want to see? You know, what don't I want to see? Am I like, you have to really get surgical with this thing. You understand? I mean, this is like life. This is important. Like there's nothing else that can ever be more important than your existence and excuse me, what you see for yourself, what you want to be. The worst thing in this life is leaving and not being able to have at least, if not fulfilled your purpose, at least you were able to experience your purpose, or at least live in your purpose at some point. I mean, and that would never be, you know, some accolade pertaining to anything outside of you. And so again, getting back to really taking stock of your life in a really scientific way if you have to, you know, or in a Socratic questioning type of way where you just ask yourself questions. And then from those questions, you're able to gather, you know, information about yourself. It sounds weird, but you'll be surprised that when you really look at it from kind of a I don't know, like the phrase or the word, but when you look at it from like a point of view that's like not the status quo, right? Not how we just look at ourselves like, okay, we're successful because we have the job or we have the family or for whatever reason, but we look at it in a way that's like almost abstract to all of those things. And again, it leads to the self. It all roads lead to the self. And so looking at yourself, being honest, and then you're able to really come up with a game plan for yourself. Because once you're able to recognize the things that need to end, the things that you need to say goodbye to, the things that are keeping you from really having that New Year's resolution, really having, manifesting those dreams and those desires and those goals, until you have that self-reflection and you really go, in with that, then, it's like, it's almost a prerequisite, if you will, to you really having, like really being practical and really having a real, like, realistic plan for your new year. And then to me, the odds are more in your favor because now you're kind of moving with more intention instead of like, you're not guessing anything. You're not wondering. You're not leaving things up to chance because now you've really assessed all of these areas in your life. And so now you know where you were weak. And so now you're moving in a different way. You understand more. You've learned more. You're going to apply things differently, right? And so I think that the catalyst for really having a positive new year and really being fully able to celebrate the newness of the new year and the transformation. Again, the key and the number one step is to assess the ending. Okay, assess the ending. So that would be my first, I would advise that as the first thing to do, is to really assess and analyze what needs to end, what's no longer serving you, habits, stories, histories, mindsets, behaviors, attitudes, whatever it is that needs to end, that's keeping you from really having that fresh new beginning, really being able to really be so really genuinely aware and genuinely in that feeling of bliss and just wonderment and just feeling so optimistic on the 31st. When the clock strikes midnight and you are really like entrenched in your energy of newness. And it's not something that just is like a soundbite, something cliche, something that's like this doctrine that, we've been, taught to do and to celebrate, but it's a real, true celebration, a celebration of literally your new life, which, is a cause for celebration. Oh my goodness. And I mean, in my opinion, this should happen at any stage in your life. I think that this should happen, again, it shouldn't take the end of a year. But I mean, hey, whatever way in which we come to the awakening, that we come to an awakening, hey, whichever way it happens, I'm just grateful that it happens. And for those who are, experiencing it and who have not yet experienced it but has the power to experience it. And again, it's just a matter of really tapping in. So we're at a half an hour. I'm gonna go for another half an hour. I want to make this video an hour. I think that it's a lot of good just dialogue that my conscious ones and I can really get into. I would love to hear your comments, questions, your thoughts, and even suggestions for more topics or more questions. Any way in which, we can raise the collective, we together. It's never an I thing. It's always going to be a we thing, because we are the collective. And so I thank my collective. I thank my subscribers. I thank viewers. If this is your first time, maybe not, maybe your second time, how about you subscribe to my channel? This is New Life Raw Evolution. I'm just a chick, according to my biological makeup, but I really identify just as a conscious soul having a physical experience on this 3D plane. And I just want an opportunity and just to add to the collective, and by love and conversation and just a collective upliftment of our souls and our true purposes at this time in this life. And so I thank everyone for your time, your support. I love you guys. Like, literally, I'm sending love. It sounds so cliche when you don't know people, but I know you. And because you're here, I really know you, and I thank you so much. But let's get back to the topic. So now, it's important to really give these endings their proper due, to write them off, to celebrate them, even the good, the bad, and the sad, because we still take something from the experience, and it becomes a part of our growth. So, I'm never the one to say, well, not anymore. Pre-awakening, I would say, I wish I never, or I wish that never, or only if this would have. And now I understand that that's just, it's not an intelligent thing to say, because first of all, it had to be that way because it was that way. That's what happened. And so it was a part of the journey. It was a part of the course, the period. And so for whatever reason, and now I understand that, because even though it could have been, good or bad or whatever, there still was a lesson to be learned. There's always going to be a lesson to be learned. And so it's kind of like, the adage, the cream rises to the top. So you take the cream out of it for whatever it is, and you apply that, and that becomes a part of your growth. So all experiences are, they bring something, right? And so moving forward to the new beginning, it's the process of rest and recuperation. So how are you really, again, going inside, quieting the noise of the world, okay? And I know that that's not easy, because most of us, like, we work, we have to, provide a life for ourselves, for our families. And so we don't have the luxury to really, like, for instance, like, just really go on like a retreat where you're really, really just like off the grid and away from all of the noise and the chatter, and you're really able to just listen to your heartbeat, listen to the pulse of your vibration. You're just able to really be grounded and really be with yourself, right? So for the most of us, we don't have that privilege. And even to make a retreat like at home or something like that, that's almost impossible when, especially for people that have children, it's just not something that's pretty practical, right? But that doesn't mean that you can't still create a small type of amount of time. Everybody, I know time is like our greatest asset, but then yet it's the most fleeting, right? And so everything, we have to make every moment count. And so it's important that when we look at life in a new way and we want this new beginning, this new life, we want to embrace this new year with new energy and new enthusiasm. It's very, very, very easy to get caught up on all of that and forget to rest, forget to get that time of deep introspection, where if only for 10 minutes a day, if you got to cut the TV off and the kids have to, be silent and, whatever, and you just have to just like listen to the beat of your heart, whether you need to just maybe listen to some soft music, like whatever it is, whatever ways that you can find rest, just maybe to lie down and to just do some deep belly breaths, like whatever it is, it's important that you find rest, you find a way to rest your mind, rest your thoughts, to rest your energy. You have to find a way, because if not, then that's going to present a lot of challenges for you in your new life, in your new year, in your new wants and and your new endeavors and things like that, right? So resting is crucial. It's key. Recuperating, okay? Because the year's been rough. Many people have gone through a lot. We've lost loved ones. We lost friends. Relationships became toxic and irreparable. Careers or jobs, people are burnt out. Finances, it's hard. Inflation. There's a threat of like war and these impending like viruses and pandemics and all of these factors that just has the collective just so fearful. I put up a video maybe a few weeks ago, and it was like, well, I asked the question, what do you do when you're just dealing with hyper anxiety, like you're just constantly in a stage of like, not so much fear, but just like the uncertainty seems to be insurmountable every day. It's like something else, you read the news. I mean, you watch the news. Well, some of us still read the paper, the newspaper. Or, you're on social media, or, you hear something from a friend, or, it's just a constant bombarding with negative images and these fear promoting issues, and you're just like and its energy, right? And so that takes away from, again, being able to find peace within, find your center, to take those deep breaths. And although it's pure hell and chaos, the soul still requires a certain amount of peace, a certain amount of quiet. We still have to be aligned. That's important, because when we're not in alignment, then we make bad decisions, then we make poor choices, then we are ego driven, we operate in low vibrations, and just harmful behavior to ourselves and others. And so it's important that the soul is able to feel some sort of peace. And with that comes your clarity. You get, like, I don't know about you, but when I kind of take a few deep breaths, suddenly, it's like, okay, my brain restarts, if you will, or, I'm kind of able now to, approach whatever it is that I need to, like, deal with, right? And now that whatever feeling I had associated with that, it's like that it's gone with those deep breaths, And so it's just really important that we rest. We nurture ourselves, It's important, and it sounds cliche, it sounds cheesy, but really, really, really verbalizing, telling yourself, even going back to the endings, I release this relationship with all authority. I release it with love, and I move on, right? And so it's about really, really what you want for yourself. You are the author of your life, believe it or not, despite what you've been told. The power lies within you. And so, that's no yada yada, bull crap, that I've heard somewhere or sounds good. It's something that I believe to be true in my heart and in my soul and in my understanding. So, again, moving on to your new beginning and really being able to find success in that new beginning, find progress in that new beginning, find momentum in that new beginning. Again, it's all about how we use self-reflection as our guiding force, right? Like, we don't need a map. We don't need a book. We don't need any guide. We are our own guide. Look at your life. Just simply, like, write down, like, okay, all the times that you lost your cool, right? Write down all of those times. I mean, I hope you got time to write down all of those times. I hope that, you listen. If you listen, it's always about to thyself be true, right? And there's never any judgment here on New Life World Evolution. This is a judgment-free zone, okay? And so if you've lost your cool, in some instances, like every day, okay. Don't beat yourself up, okay? The fact of the matter that, first and foremost, you're honest with yourself to say, you know what? Listen, you have a notebook, right? And you're kind of feeling, the ways in which I feel is a good strategy or good tools in terms of really forging a real new beginning, right? And a real new year, right? And really having these New Year resolutions that you've made for yourself, really shifting and flipping the whole way in which you look at them, and ways in which you plan for them, and how you're going to affect change and progress and so much success, right? So if you got this notebook and you're taking your little notes from the things I've been saying, wonderful, kudos to you. And it I love to see and hear how things develop for you moving forward, and how'd you find, the tips and the tools, if they were handy for you in any way, right? But that's just a sidebar. I get them back. So if the little notepad you have or the piece of paper you have, and have written 360, it's only a few days left from the year, so 350 something days you have written down, I lost my cool. I lost my cool on the first. That's okay. It's okay. Because now what you're going to do is, that behavior is unacceptable, right? That's behavior of low vibration, right? Most of the time that's a behavior that's less than you, right? You're better than that. So you don't need to, you don't want to deal with that anymore. You don't want to be that person. And that's amazing. That's like one of the best things that you could do, because it's probably that issue that you have that's gonna be a part of like the life that you want, right? This new beginning. And in some way, to me, it always seems like whatever the challenge is becomes like something that you become like seen for, but in a good way. Like, it really goes from like bad to good, right? And so if you have that down and you've lost your cool, and that's something that you do, listen, it's the perfect time for you to put an end to that, to release that, okay? And now the rest time, forgive yourself, nurture yourself, and now find ways in which you can really, kind of get out of your emotions, or not, if you can't get out of them, but to kind of work on ways in which you can tame your emotions, that you can temper your emotions to that are suitable for you, and a way that still you're true to yourself, but you're operating more out of a place of like understanding, a high vibration. And as a result, you're always gonna, have like, it's like good vibes, right? And like good karma, and like good juju, and good energy, and good everything, right? When we operate, when we put, when we're ready to confront our shadow selves, right, which is the dark part of ourselves, which would be indicative of someone that may be a little hot-headed, right, or could be a shadow self is any part of you that may not be at its best, may not be what you want to be, in terms of, a person that's happy, a person that's peaceful, a person that's caring, that's kind, that's, a person, a all around good person. Like, I don't think any soul in a physical form wants to be a bad person. Like, I've never come across a person that says, I want to be a bad person. I want to be mean. I want to be unhappy. I want to be miserable. I've never heard anyone say that or ask for that, but yet we know that, many of us, are unhappy. Many of us are depressed. Many of us do feel unworthy. Many of us battle with so many, so many self-loathing and self-defeating attitudes about ourselves. And these things mostly come as a result of, our earlier lives, our growing up, our environments, right? And so it's important that we end all of those notions, those negative, self-defeating, negative self-fulfilling prophecies, that we have created, some by choice, some others maybe not so much by choice. But now that you find yourself, as this conscious being, now the power's in your hands. Because we know as kids and young people, we really can't do much. We are, kind of powerless because of our youth and our age, and just the fact of, the cycle of life, as a children and young teenagers. But now those days are gone, and we are now fully functioning adults, right? And so we have the power to change the paradigm, to write a different story than the story that was written for us. Okay, now we can write it. And so now, how do you write the new story of your life? What does the new story look like? What does the new beginning look like? What are the new dreams? Now that you have said goodbye to the ending, right? You've acknowledged the need for endings, for things that no longer serve you to be gone, to be released. You release these things, right? And now you nurture yourself. So you release and you refresh you. You revive you. It starts with you. So before you can be that star employee, before you can be the best wife or the best husband or the best student or the best kid or the best auntie or uncle or whatever, the best athlete, the best artist, the best, soldier, the best, teacher, whatever it is, before you can be that, you have to recharge yourself. You have to receive you got to receive the truth about the darkness, right? The shadow self, the dark parts of you. You have to be honest. You have to go into the places that you don't want to do, because until you do that, there'll never be a new year for you. The years will be new, but they won't be for you. You'll find yourself in this perpetual cycle of just, the same old, same old, same old. And for what? When the possibilities are endless, when the divine is within you, when all you need to do is tap in. And when you're tapped in, you can manifest whatever you want. And again, this is not cliche. I'm sorry. This is not like, I know it sounds that way. And it sounded like that to me, for a long time. But literally, like, your thoughts, your attitude, your actions really, really, play such an instrumental, role, an instrumental part. It's paramount to you really living the life that you want for yourself, okay? And how you want to be a better you. How you want this new year to be different from every other new year. Because it's likely that if you don't incorporate, don't take my advice, but just the themes of accepting the endings, identifying what needs to be ended, what needs to go, what needs to be released. Okay. And then after that, now forgiving yourself, restoring yourself, refortifying yourself. And then once you're able to do that, now you're able to have a fresh mindset. You're seeing things with clarity. You're approaching things with love and understanding. And so now the whole cycle changes. The whole wheel turns. And now, like, change is really in your favor. Success is really in your favor. Like, you really, really, for the first time, have a real shot at having a new year, of your New Year's resolutions not only coming true, but exceeding even what you thought they would be, right? Because again, when you are aware, you're tapped in, you understand the need for change, and that it's the only constant force in this existence. And the whole existence is change, right? So how are you going to transform your life this year, right? Because the new year has begun according to the winter solstice, right? And so you can look that up, but for those who may not know. But it's not so much January 1st that the new year commences. The new year begins, it's begun already. So now start your endings. Not start your engines, conscious ones and viewers, and to all who is listening to this video, catching this video. It's not start your engines, but it's start your endings. Start your endings. And after you start your endings, again, it's a process, okay? This is a process. This is not something that's 1, 2, 3, okay? Listen, it's been a long 12 months. So this is not something that you can do in haste, okay? Take your time, get into a quiet space, okay? Give yourself a few hours and go to work, okay? Put on your glasses, get a good comfortable pen with a soft grip in your hand, get a notebook, okay? Take some deep breaths and go into the laboratory of your life. Go into the lab and look at what's happened over this year and what needs to go, okay? We're dealing with the unconscious, our conscious, and our subconscious, right? So it's always about the past, the present, and the future. What do we want to see? Well, conscious ones, I have about 1.5 minutes left on this video. But again, take this wonderful, wonderful, amazingly, just the most amazing time of year to acknowledge and first of all celebrate your life, celebrate yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. Celebrate you, love you, what needs to end, how do you find rest and peace, go inward, look at those shadows, get into those shadows, and then emerge with a new mindset, a new way of thinking, a new love for yourself, and new life. This is New Life Raw Evolution. For more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel, like and share. And again, viewers, my conscious ones, my subs, dear hearts, I love you, I love you, I love you. I'm sending you love, light. May your frequency always vibrate at its highest. share, subscribe. Like I said, leave some comments down below, questions, comments, thoughts, points of view. Everything is welcomed here. There's never going to be any disrespect. There's never going to be any exclusion. It's always going to be about love. It's always going to be about the collective. It's always going to be about higher consciousness. I love you guys, conscious ones.